Buddha makes it clear that we should take care of our parents when they are very old, yes, and all family members. How can we do this when we have parents who are so difficult that they keep us in a negative state of mind? What did I say? You always have a choice. Nobody puts you in a negative state of mind. You put yourself in a negative state of mind. Gotta remember that. You'll see that through the practice. Now, of course, sometimes situations will arise that are just beyond what you're able to do in your practice, and you lose that knowledge. And so maybe, you are a practitioner, but you're so frustrated that you can't even understand that you have this choice. Would it be best to stay away from them or stay with them and endure the negative mental states? Also, how can Buddha say this when he left his own family? This is a common question, especially, some people, this person is saying that their parents are difficult. Some people, my career before this was Child Protective Services, and I've seen what parents can do to, I've seen some of the worst things, the worst kinds of quote-unquote parents. And so some people have so much hatred and negativity towards their parents because of this. And really what they're doing is they're hurting themselves. I would say that do what you can to help your parents. I don't know if they're, getting close to death, or they're going to be around for a while, they need help or whatever. But do what you can to help your parents. Do the best that you can. And if you need to get away to recharge your metta, to recharge your goodwill and your desire to help your parents, then sometimes you're going to have to get away. If you're taking care of your parents, see if you can get somebody else for a while to take care of them. I don't know. But I wouldn't, I wouldn't abandon them. People are hard to live with and hard to work with in general, and especially when we deal with parents, especially as they get older. Right, they're getting older. Most likely they didn't meditate, and most likely they're realizing getting old sucks, and so they're going through a lot of stuff. And you're probably middle-aged and you have a family and you have worries and stuff and everything, and you're going through a lot of stuff. And so the two of you, might butt heads and might have this trouble. Try to see past that. Try to realize that your parents won't be there forever. And if there's real negative and hatred towards your parents, work on your practice and work on metta and letting that go, because that's really not hurting them, it's hurting you. Any kind of holding on to hatred and anger and resentment hurts you. It doesn't hurt the other person. It can hurt other people, and how you holding on to that hatred and anger and resentment, what that causes you to do outwardly, that can hurt other people. But in your mind, that's hurting you. Yeah.
Question,
sure.
Is what about if you grew up in an environment where your father was a rapist and he was a drug dealer, and you decided that it was best to get away, so you make your own life, and then later your father wants you to help him financially, and he has destroyed so many people's lives, and he does not. He's not able to see the harm that he has caused, even though you have communicated to your father about that. And so the question is about the abandonment issue. So it's not a question of just a regular resentment, but more that is healthier to get away from that type of situation.
Sometimes people don't change. Changing is very hard. And that does kind of change my answer a little bit. I saw it. I worked in Child Protective Services for a decade. I saw how people enabling other people allowed them to do whatever they, to harm people and to continue doing what they were doing. So if all of a sudden they come back into your life and they're like, trying to be nice to you and they need money and then all this and that.
Correct.
Yeah, I would be extremely wary of doing that because, helping them in that way, it's hard to say not to because people think, how there's no compassion in there. There's no, where's your compassion? But, if this person has had this track record of throughout your life being this way, and it doesn't seem like they have really tried to change, then you have to protect yourself. As simple as that. Enabling them is not going to help them. Your actions. This is, we'll call it tough love or call it whatever. I know I'm not a parent. I don't have a child. I help raise my nephew, and I understand a little bit of parents, but I'm not a parent. So I can kind of understand that a parent to, or a child to the parent, it would be very hard to say no to somebody they love. But sometimes you have to do that. So in that situation, I would say protect yourself, without a doubt. Now, again, I would say still work on yourself. Don't, you don't have to have, you can understand your father's situation, and you can have compassion for him, but that doesn't mean that you have to have, I don't know if Pema Chodron or started this or whatever, but there's this wonderful thing that she uses, is called idiot compassion. The first time I heard this, I said, wow, yeah, that makes sense. It's compassion without wisdom. Compassion has to have wisdom. If you do something with compassion, you might have good intentions, and of course, karmically, that's fine. You didn't do anything wrong, but you never know what good intentions can cause. And so, I would say do your best to work on any issues that you have in your own mind, and to protect yourself. If it really, see, this is the other thing. I've also seen people can be very manipulative, and they can be like, I'm really changing this time, right? And then you help them, and then they don't change, because it's hard to change. It really is. It's one of the hardest things a person to do, is to really change. And so, I would say in a situation like that, work towards protecting yourself, both physically and mentally. Protecting yourself against your own, the negativity in your own mind as well.